Hi. Platform engineers today have a pretty tough job. They have a lot of things they need to investigate and understand in a very wide technology landscape when designing and architecting platforms for their organizations. This video will hopefully help you understand some of the design decisions behind the Kratix framework and help you decide if it's the right tool for you. Kratix is a framework for building internal developer platforms, and a platform should help your organization move faster, be safer, and scale more efficiently. What Kratix does uniquely is it helps your platform builders do the same. So let's talk more about an effective platform. This all starts with an API. APIs allow your platform to be both self-service and on-demand to your platform users. And when building APIs, it's best to lean on specifications such as the OpenAPI v3 spec. This one in particular is built into the Kubernetes Custom Resource Definition, or CRD, so it's become almost a de facto standard for building internal platforms. But we're not going to talk any more about that app dev experience, other than to say that Kratix is built with this as the standard for creating APIs. And you can see it put to work with some of the most popular portals of today, including Port and Backstage in the videos behind these QR codes. Because it uses OpenAPI v3, you can actually use any interface, whether it be a chatbot or a bespoke portal or even a ticketing system. This allows us today to focus on how we create the services that power these APIs. And creating those services isn't easy. And that's because to create them, you actually have to worry about all three layers of the architecture. That front-end API, the back-end dependencies and services, and most importantly, that meaty middle where your business is getting the most value. And these are what's bespoke to your business, the capabilities you offer. These three layers can be difficult to build a service from, but Kratix comes with an API for service builders that is actually covering all three layers through a vertical slice. We call this API a promise. And to create these self-service capabilities as promises, you have to define a few key attributes. The first attribute is the dependencies. These are things that you depend on in order to offer your service. These can be managed completely by Kratix, or they can be things that already exist. The next is workflows. These are a set of business and technical requirements that can be applied at lifecycle hooks, whether that be create, update, or delete. They can be changed and applied to a single resource by an application developer or other user, or the capability provider can change something and have that roll out across the entire fleet. And of course, it allows you to define the contract with your users through an API. Creating these services in these three layers is often quite difficult because they rely on very different technologies and therefore often different tools and repositories. That creates a maintenance hole. With a promise, this is all packaged as a single offering, allowing you to make changes to the user contract, the technology and business requirements, and the implementation of the infrastructure in a single atomic and versioned commit, making maintenance a breeze and allowing your teams to focus most on that meaty middle workflow, leveraging any language they may choose or even workflow applications that they're used to working in. Since the experience of the capability builders is so key to making decisions about how to build your platform, let's do a quick demo about how you can use Kratix to transform a Helm chart into a self-service and on-demand API with ease. So here we are in the terminal, and what we're going to do first is use that CLI to initialize a new promise where we define the API name as well as the Helm chart that we're going to be creating it from. By running this command, we get a couple of files. In particular, we get an example resource to allow you to test easily and early, but more importantly, we get the promise itself. And this promise can be applied to the cluster just like any other Kubernetes resource. By applying this promise to the cluster, you actually start to create a catalog of available APIs. And you can see what's available on your platform by running kubectl get promises. We can see here that the basic app is now available, and so I'm going to use a small script to create a few different applications. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a patch against that existing promise. In this patch, we're doing a very similar change as you would do in your CI server. We're adding a container, which allows you to set some rules for the Chekhov scanner. When I apply that to the promise, we will see that that actually rolls out to the whole estate. But it isn't really interesting yet because we haven't told it what to do with those results. So let's add a second container and a second patch, this time enabling the workflow to write information back to the requester. So this would be the user getting the results of this scan, allowing the business to give people a heads up of any security flaws before they start failing deployments in the future based on these results. When we add this container, we can then check that the container is rolling through the whole estate. And we can see that each of those 3 applications we previously created are now running their workflows to incorporate these new checkoff rules. Once that's done, I can go and request the details from my specific application. Seeing that in the status of that, we can have checkoff tell me that there are 41 failures that we need to work through. This status can be displayed in any interface that you want, including both port and backstage as we talked about before. So in summary, Kratix is a bit unique because it's a framework that makes building capabilities faster, safer, and more scaled for everyone in your organization. This allows you to scale beyond a single centralized platform team when needing to provide new services, and allows the experts in your organization to create those services for themselves. If you're interested in learning more about Kratix or how to build platforms, check out syntasso.io or kratix.io and reach out for more information. Thank you.